This is Chris,
This is Nick.
and you're listening to The Midnight Tapes. On this episode of The Midnight Tapes, we're going to be diving into the shadow people. So, just to break it down for some of you that don't know what these are, shadow people are a perception or a patch of a shadow as a living humanoid figure. Most often, they resemble a man, and people are unsure whether these beings have good or evil intentions. Reports say that shadow people have attempted to choke victims that see them, and people say that they feel a heavy negative feeling in their chest when in the presence of shadow people or a shadow person. The average age of someone who sights them or their first encounter with the shadow person is 10 years old. We'll go more into that in a bit. And the sightings usually occur at late hours of the night. You will always see these people in your peripheral unless you get a more aggressive case of a shadow person. They will reveal themselves to you like straight on. And in the foggy mountains of Santa Lucia, there is a central coast of California, and for 100 years, the Chumash Indians and the residents that live there today have reported dark watchers, or also known as shadow people, which are shadowy, hatted, caped figures who appear on ridges at twilight only to fade away before your very eyes. Okay, so what are your first initial thoughts when you hear shadow person, shadow people? Have you heard of this before?
Yeah, actually, because I like to read a lot about scary stuff, and one of the main things that I would hear about was shadow people, and also another one is black-eyed children.
Okay.
But as far as the shadow people, I just kind of dismissed it as just another maybe like demonic presence.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing it as, the way that it's told that it's kind of like in your peripheral vision and things like that, it's kind of like it kind of brought it to new light. Another kind of thing I would like to factor in is apparently the ones that don't like to be spotted will, as soon as you see them head on, will either dash out of view and fade away, or just fade away before your very eyes. Mm-hmm. I agree that, it does, it's pretty freaky, and I agree, to seeing that it happens within late hours of the night for, I don't know what reason it could be, but that's just what it seems. Maybe they feel like they're camouflaged better or something like that.
Yeah, I would always see, in cartoons, they do that thing where their shadow moves, whatever. That's like a funny cartoon thing, You never think that, your shadow could be something in your life, which is it's not even your shadow. Just to clarify, these shadow people aren't your shadow. They only mimic to be, but they're their own beings, according to what we've read. Mm-hmm. And they've been around for longer than... They're not just a new urban legend. They've been around, which I think some of the best urban legends are the ones that tell of, creatures that have been around since before us.
Yeah.
Ancient things. I think that's scarier than, something... the Slender Man. Mm-hmm. That to me seemed a little new. That was 2012.
Yeah, that was
yeah, go ahead.
That was actually Slenderman being a legend was some sort of thing that was made up in a Photoshop contest, actually. So it's kind of dismissible.
And yeah, exactly. You see urban legends become franchise. Slenderman has a game. Mm-hmm. There's been a movie on it, and we see some similarities. Not exactly. The shadow people, they have no face. Obviously, they're like a black mass.
Yeah.
According to this, they seem to be appealing towards, I guess, they're more revealing of themselves. They'll show themselves easier around younger children.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Which is probably why if somebody ever heard a child saying, "Oh, I saw a person look like a shadow," they'll dismiss it.
Yeah, like a monster or something like that. They usually, and I think the reason is that they're children are more naive in the sense that they probably feel that maybe they can, the shadow people, maybe have some sort of objective, and maybe they feel they can get away with it better when revealing themselves to children because, like you said, the older parents will just dismiss it. And I'll just like to also bring into light that we are going to be discussing 2 stories that we both found online. Yeah. We'll put the link in the description for...
there's an entire website dedicated to shadow people, coping with shadow people, frequently asked questions about shadow people. We were on it for a little bit. We're going to go ahead and link it. If you're listening on YouTube, just go down to the description. But we went on there for a little bit. I don't know if you saw some of the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was like pictures of like these black, like it almost looks like dust.
Like gas or
yeah,
something.
like gas. Yeah, exactly. Just moving around.
Mm-hmm.
People, a lot of the stories on there start off with when I was 10 years old, you know? So there's definitely a lot of similarities between all the stories of people that have cited these shadow people. So if you want, we could start reading one. I could read this first one we found right here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're, like I said, Chris is gonna read one. I'm gonna read one, and we also have some stories of our own to share. So we'll get to that when it comes. But yeah, Chris, go ahead.
All right, so I took this one off the discussion thread on the Shadow People website. This one is from warwolf@ontis.com. He said this. When I was about 10 years old, I remember something a 10-year-old would never forget. One night, I was sleeping in my room. I wake up for no reason and look around the room, and I'm still sitting on my bed. At the time, I had no curtains on my windows. When I looked out the window, I saw a black shadow staring at me. To describe it, it had no face. It was just plain black. I was so scared that I couldn't move. I was too scared to turn on the lights, so I hid under my blankets. And I was puzzled because who would be staring at me from the second floor window? The next day, I told my mother about this, and I think she believed me. We put a blanket over the window so it wouldn't bother me anymore. After that, it didn't bother me. But that very next night, my mom told me that a black shadow came to her sliding door window. It was just staring at her, so she got up and turned on the lights, and it was no longer there. She shut the curtains and left it at that. So every night, she reminded me to shut all the curtains in the house. A few years later, my little brother had the same experience. He woke up crying and he was too scared to sleep alone for a long time. My brother was only 8 years old at the time. I don't know why this thing bothered us, but I can only give you people advice. Close your curtains at night so nothing will look at you. So that's one of the stories that we took off from the discussion post. And as you see, not only was this 10-year-old, well, at the time 10-year-old, being harassed by these shadow people, but so was his siblings and so was his mom.
Yeah.
So if you want to go ahead and read yours, and we can discuss both of these.
Sure. So this one is from somebody that has decided to withhold their name.
Okay.
But it was posted in 2002 October.
All right.
So this one goes, hello. This is one of the many stories I could share, but it was the one that also affected others in the room. One night about a year ago, I was sleeping and woke up. If anything's gonna happen, it usually does at about 3 a.m. I've noticed that. Anyway, I was half asleep with my head on the pillow, but saw two beings, very dark. They were in the doorway with the faint hall light on behind them. One was upright, and one was on all fours. They looked very evil, and things didn't feel right at all. My husband was sleeping next to me, and our dog was next to our bed. They were both very restless, snorting and tossing and turning. I started to pray. It took a while, but eventually I could tell the beings were leaving. As soon as they were gone, my husband and the dog started to sleep peacefully. Weird, huh? Which, again, goes towards the negative energy.
Yeah, the negative vibe that they bring around themselves, yeah. So I can definitely see, like, in the story, you know, these people, they can't help but feel like something is there. Mm-hmm. And just like the husband and the dog you said, right?
Yeah,
they couldn't sleep. Well. They were tossing and turning until the shadow people left. So maybe that might also appeal to why they are black masses, you know, like black energy.
Yeah.
It usually has something to do with like negative connotations. They carry around this like negative feeling, this heavy feeling. If you like, we can this was funny because we were talking before the podcast and we were like, have we ever had any experience with any sort of shadowy figure that we saw? And we were thinking, and at first initially I was like, no, I haven't. You know, none of this matches what I've seen. But I did remember an event. I'm not saying for 100% this was a shadow person or a sighting of one, but I'll go ahead and explain it. And I know you had a story too, right?
Yeah.
So, let me go ahead and explain mine. So I was on a family trip with my cousins, my aunts. We were at Circus in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. The hotel's alright. It's kind of creepy. You know, the carpet smell like any other Las Vegas hotel, but... Anyway, so we go inside to the room, and it's only me and my cousins at this point because all the adults went to go gamble. So we're just chilling, we're watching TV, and at some point the adults finally get there. They get to the room, and it's already way past midnight. So we had the light on the whole time, just because I don't know. I guess we were scared to turn them off. It doesn't matter. Like we weren't thinking about it. The lights were just on. So I'm sleeping on a bed and I'm facing just one corner of the room, kind of. And in the corner there's a lamp. It's like one of the ones that goes it has a base and then it goes up. It's a really tall lamp. And as soon as they turned off the lights, because you have to turn off the lights from the front door, so they turned them off at the front door, and as soon as they turned off the light, immediately, the figure of a girl, she was wearing a dress. I remember she was wearing a dress. Her hands at her side, appeared on top of the lamp. As she was like balanced on it. This is 100%. I'm not trying to front for anything. This is 100% true. She was standing on top of the lamp. I think it was a girl. Who knows what it could have been, and I just turned around. I didn't say anything. I didn't scream. I didn't do anything. I just turned around and I went to sleep. I only said something after we left because I didn't want to bring that energy with us. I said something when we were home already. I said, I saw this, I saw that. I couldn't even sleep for like 20 minutes. But it was so frightening to see, like, as soon as they turned off the lights, a shadow formed itself. It was instantly.
Yeah.
It was instantly. It didn't even, like, slowly come together. I saw it clearly. It was dark in there, but it wasn't dark to the point where I couldn't see anything. I could make out clear outlines, and that's what I saw.
And did you feel any negative energy when you saw it?
After I saw it, because obviously before I was just, I didn't feel anything bad. Okay. We're just going to see. But as soon as I seen it, I tell you, I didn't say anything. The energy was that much. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't want to describe what just happened.
Almost as if like if there was somebody kind of like holding
me back.
Yeah,
like saying like, don't, you better not say anything. You know,
crazy,
I felt the urge to keep my mouth shut, not even be like, whoa, do you guys see that? Nothing. I stayed quiet until we got home because I felt safe to say something. Yeah. But if you want to go ahead with your story, then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, absolutely. So like Chris as well, I wasn't thinking that I had any stories, but something did actually happen recently before I had looked into any of the shadow people stuff. So I have my sister and her girlfriend as well staying with us for a little bit. They're getting some work done on their car. So they're sleeping in our living room. It's a 2-story condo. And they're sleeping in our living room downstairs. My room's upstairs. And I share a room with my girlfriend. So I was going downstairs to go refill some water bottles. It was around probably around 2 in the morning, I would say. And as I was going downstairs to refill my drinks, I usually have my headphones in just because I usually don't like to
just be in the silence.
To be in the silence,
okay.
Exactly. So I'm coming upstairs. I'm looking at my phone. I don't have the light on because I kind of know my way around.
Yeah.
And this has happened before, except like they have like some pillows and stuff they stack because they're sleeping on the couch, so they take off the extra pillows, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen them, and I know that they're there. They usually stack them on a chair that we have because they slept on like the big couch. We have a recliner chair, like separate. That's where they usually stack them, and I could have sworn that they are there, and that they were there. However, when I was walking on the big couch at the very edge, I could have sworn that I had seen a figure there. Okay. And the reason that this is so freaky is because as I wasn't looking, I did not want to look straight at it.
Yeah.
I did not want to turn my light on. I just wanted to get upstairs and go in the room. Like you said, not say anything.
Yeah.
Not say a word.
Avoid
not look.
It, yeah.
Not pay attention. But as soon as I saw this figure, a feeling of dread, of fear came over me.
Yeah.
And it was just it was as if it was staring right at me out of the peripheral vision of my front, because again I was looking at my phone.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to take my eyes off my phone. I didn't want to try and focus in on it. I just wanted to go upstairs and get out of there. And like I said, it might not have been a shadow person. It might have just been my imagination. Maybe they did put some pillows there.
Yeah.
But I have never felt that feeling. I'm usually one that's kind of more like I want to find an explanation. Like if there's noises, if something falls, oh, it's probably this, it's probably that. That's kind of the way I usually take it. However, this was different, and I felt some sort of energy, and I just never said anything about it because I just, like you said, I don't want to bring any light to it.
It's like you experienced whatever this may be. I'm not saying mine was a shadow person either, but it immediately tells you don't say anything and carry on.
Yeah, because
I know you saw me. You don't say anything.
Yeah,
and you carry on, and it's like, I don't know, like some people they when they have to turn off a light, they turn it off and they bolt out of the room. A lot of people do that, Is it that we're scared of the dark in general, or is it that something kind of forces us out? Don't look back. Hurry up and get to where you have to be, and don't say anything. Don't acknowledge me. don't look at me. You know, like I have control over you.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
you know, not to drag this on too much, but I do
Yeah.
have one theory that I have been kind of building up in my mind.
Okay.
That I have never heard, but it makes sense to me. And I mean, tell me what you think, Chris.
All right.
I think the reason we feel a sort of negative energy, when you feel happy and positive, you feel light, you feel free.
Yeah.
When you have negative, you feel a lot of heaviness.
Yeah, pressure.
And I feel like negative spirits, you know, demonic entities, feed off that pressure, because you know how their spirits are made of energy and stuff
Yeah.
like that. They feed off that heavy energy, and I feel like negative energy produces the most energy they can feed off of. That's my theory on it. That's
Definitely agree. I think that negative spirits will gravitate towards negative energy. If you're releasing some, they're gonna come and get it. You know,
absolutely,
positive energy, they're gonna be like, oh, that's not really my thing. You know.
absolutely.
But yeah, I think this has been a very interesting topic. I think we went really ran with this one because like we didn't think we knew anything about this. Turns out we might have experienced it ourselves.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if you guys have ever seen something out of the corner of your eye move along the wall, shadow, anything like that. But definitely I relate to this one.
Absolutely. If you have, you know, experienced any of that, if you're watching it on YouTube, leave it in the comments. Even SoundCloud, you can comment as well. I'd love to read about it. If there's any topics you want us to talk about, leave it in the comments, and you know we'll get to it.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna go ahead and link all the websites that we talked about. Make sure you guys visit them and check out the pictures. They're definitely creepy.
Absolutely.
But we'll see you guys on the next episode.
All right. Thanks again, guys.
Bye.